Hello, everyone. Oh my God. I hope you're ready for a 92-hour long stream because that's what's coming up, I think. There's a lot to talk about this week. And I had nothing. I had nothing yesterday. I sent out a fucking YouTube message. I'm like, hey guys, if you guys want to send me some funny stories that you have about internet shit, go ahead because fuck it. There's nothing to talk about besides Ralph, who I'll talk about. But oh God, can you imagine an entire stream just dedicated to fucking Ralph? What a miserable miserable Friday that would be. It's like, oh shit, I gotta pull the fucking bungee cord here. I gotta figure out some way to pad an hour or two. So I asked people to send me some stories, and I'll get to them because I said I would. And I got a lot, but I'll read my favorites, at least the ones that I can succinctly describe to people with minimal effort. That's funny to me. But geez, immediately after I said that, I woke up the same day, or sorry, I sent this out on Wednesday. I woke up on Thursday, and I thought, like, what? There's a new feature, which is rare because it's like I usually feature everything, and mods will ask me like, "Hey, do you think that this is feature worthy?" And I'll say, "Yeah, sure. Why not?" This time I wake up to a feature, which is rare. So the mod, I in my infinite wisdom, when I made the feature system, I didn't add any kind of logging. So whoever features something, it's an honor system between the Jannies right now as to who features what. So I have I have no idea who decided to do it. But I wake up and I just see Lowtax might be dead. And I'm like, oh shit, I didn't feature that. So and I look into it and say, yeah, sure enough, it was in 1 hour. Less than 1 hour after the news breaks that Lowtax might be dead, we have about 100 times more credible and reliable information verifying that Lowtax is probably dead than we have gotten in like 6 months since Bu has died, which just goes to show you how fucking bullshit that is. Actually, right here on my desk chat is an urn that says Richard Kayanka. I have it right here. Wait. See, that's my urn. I'll take a picture later. It just says Lowtax on it with his the year he was born and the year he died, and I got that in the mail as his most trusted colleague, and so 100% we know for a fact that he's dead. Yeah, I'll get to all that. I don't want to spoil anything. Spoiler: Lowtax is dead. There's some more to that. Some stuff has come out that's worth going into. Um, I'll self promote real quick before I do that. Let's see. Just really quick. I have put out a new article, which has arrived on Zero Hedge, and it's about my issues with the lawsuits. So if you're interested in all at the Melinda Scott and the Russell Greer stuff. It's on metatheinternet.com under the writing category, and it's also on Zero Hedge and featured on the Kiwi Farms right now, using the U.S. courts to burn money for free forever. And hopefully that will illuminate you on the challenges. I get a lot of suggestions like, why don't you just move out of the U.S.? Why don't you just like... there's very good reasons why I don't do a lot of the things that are commonly suggested. It's because it's just not possible. If it was possible, I would fucking do anything at this point. But alas, it is not. And hopefully the article is explanatory as to why I don't take those. Yeah, journalists. Yeah, I'll get into that. I have a fucking gripe with journalism today. Don't you worry. I read an article that made me cope, sneeze, and dilate. So, oh, and speaking of, I'm busting through all my garbage, my garbage that I just picked up that I want to talk about. So I'm not a person that really follows artists. Like I like a bunch of songs from a bunch of different people. I don't really follow musicians as a career because it's just like most musicians over their entire life will make like 1 or 2 good songs with very limited exception. One of the few people who I kind of liked as a musician, and whose music I liked particularly as a teenager, has shown up to the CFDA Awards in drag. This is Kid Cudi, or Cudi. I don't know how to pronounce it. I've never heard his name pronounced. I've just seen it on albums. If you don't know, this is the guy that made Day and Night, which played on the radio all the fucking time when I was a teenager. Day and Night is the only song that my mom ever told me reminded her of me. It's and I'm a big fan of his song "The Prayer," which I know is just a cover of "The Funeral" by Band of Horses, but I like his song and I like "Pursuit of Happiness." And this is the guy who, when I had my brick phone, my fucking Nokia in high school in the ninth grade, it had less than like 100 MB of storage, and I put fucking one of his albums on it, and that's all I needed. It was this guy, and now less than 20 years later, he's fully fucking buck broken. He is buck broken. And the Tariq Nasheed definition of buck breaking, this man has had a circumcised penis dragged across his fucking face, and now he's at the FDA Fashion Awards in a bridal gown. Like he just got married to Epstein or something. Like, come on, man. Why are they doing this? And you know what's really frustrating is that they'll blame us. They'll say, I can't believe white men are doing this. They're buck breaking our boys. They're making Kid Cudi go to Fashion Awards in a bridal gown. Like he just got done being the bottom bitch at some fucking prison. I can't believe white people are doing this. Just look at his record producers. They're so white and evil. It's like, come on. It's extremely frustrating and very sad. I when I was a very depressed, angsty teenager, right? If you know anything about me, you know that my teenage years were full of turmoil and internal conflict, and I really, really liked "The Prayer" by Kid Cudi. It was a comforting song when I was sad, or "Down and Out." "Down and Out's" another song, and I love that song too. And they buck broke that motherfucker. I can't believe it, guys. I really can't. Why him? Out of all the people to buck break, why has it got to be him? Maybe it's just all of them, and I only notice it when it's my guys. Anyways, that's just one a minor gripe this week as we go down the list. Oh, by the way, I hope you guys are all aware. This has been highly requested. I didn't really think it was worth mentioning because it's just obvious as far as like this is from Reclaim the Net, by the way. I've shilled them before. It is the only mailing list I'm actually subscribed to. They're pretty good. So if you like internet related news in terms of like the decline of the internet, I find these guys very, very good. But they are hiding the dislike number on videos, and they're saying that's because it's targeted harassment. People will dislike bomb a creator, and that might be part of it, because if you don't remember, after James Charles was canceled and people held like unsubscribing parties where he dropped by like millions and it was in real time on different stat websites, I think that they made the decision that they were going to make it harder to participate in like canceling creators in a party like that. So after that, they made it so that YouTube subscription numbers could only be pulled by the API in round numbers relative to how many subscribers they have. So for someone who has like 1 million subscribers, it only updates in bundles of 10,000. For 6 figures, it's every 1,000. For 5 figures, it's every 1,000, and so on. So that was a change they made a while ago, and now they're completely hiding dislike numbers. And they're saying it's because of targeted harassment, but I think it's actually because if you go to any, like right now, this is your only week to do it, I guess, before they implement this change. If you go to any like live stream from ABC or CNN or MSNBC or whatever the fuck, and you watch Rittenhouse trial coverage, you will notice that the dislike ratio is heavily weighted against that source. So all these traditional media companies, all these dinosaur media companies, obsolete media companies, get on YouTube because cable numbers are fucking horrific right now. There's no point even having cable anymore. So nobody has a TV except the demographic most likely to die of a heart attack in the next hour. So they're all moving to YouTube, and they're getting slaughtered because everyone fucking hates them. Even people on the left hate them. Nobody who's under the age of like 60 has any confidence in traditional media. So they're just getting completely destroyed, and they have to rebuild their image. And one of the ways they're going to do that is by hiding dislike numbers, I guess, because right now it's too obvious, and it's if they choose to disable the likes and dislike numbers together, then you know that they're hiding something. Why would you do that? So it's like, we don't want people to even have the choice to be able to turn this on, because it makes people who choose to turn it off look like that they get really bad statistics. And just so you know, what's even really funny about this is that YouTube decided a while back that in its algorithm, it wouldn't penalize dislikes at all. In fact, it benefits a video to be disliked. A video that has like a million dislikes will be treated as if it has a million likes. It's a net number between likes and dislikes. It's all, it's all engagement to YouTube. They don't give a fuck what it is. As long as you're engaged, as long as you're feeling some kind of emotion watching something, you're plugged into the algorithm, you're watching the content, you're seeing ads and stuff. They don't give a shit how it affects you. Unless it's something like vaccine videos, or I guess I shouldn't say the V word. What's an alternative word? Retard juice, of course. If you see any videos advertising retard juice and they get slammed with dislikes, people might be wondering, oh, why don't people like this video about retard juice? I thought it was really informative. I thought retard juice was a good thing. And then they'll read the comments or look it up or whatever. They don't want that, basically, is what I'm saying. So only on certain demographics of YouTube are driving this change. And I feel like this is obvious, but I kind of consider myself a documentarian. This is how I write my post on my website. I don't write my post depending on the thread, but when I'm trying to be informative, I don't write my post for like the people reading then. I'm writing the post knowing that in 5 years from now, that post will probably be on the forum, and someone will be trying to figure out why this person went on a Rittenhouse spree. And they're reading this thread, and they're trying to read my posts. So it helps to be as informative and contextual as possible. So I know you're all smart enough to see this shit for what it is. But for the future people, the aliens who have unearthed this tumultuous society, who are trying to figure out why it fell apart like the Roman Empire. These are some of the symptoms where we have these massive media conglomerates covering for each other constantly when they really shouldn't be, when they should be in competition with each other. They're all working together to try and make the public trust them more. And it's like, why? And the answer to that is up to interpretation. You can choose whatever why you want. It really doesn't matter at this point. Your particular decisions are irrelevant. And on that note, let's talk about Rittenhouse. I'm going to talk about Rittenhouse for approximately 3 seconds, so don't blink. 1 second. I have a video for this. I thought I had a video for this. Is this in my downloads directory? How am I, after all this time, I'm still so bad at this. Okay, here. Okay, this is my video to cover. This will sum up the entirety of the Rittenhouse trial, and you don't need to know anything else about it after you watch this video.
You see Mr. Rosenbaum come around. You could see Kyle. You'll see Kyle. You see Kyle. You'll see Kyle. You see Kyle. Did not see.
I did not see.
One more time.
You see Mr. Rosenbaum come around. You could see Kyle. You'll see Kyle. You see Kyle. You'll see Kyle. You see Kyle. Did not see.
I did not see.
Did you see Kyle? No, I did not. I did not see. Very clever. I like that a lot. Though people seem to be very invested in this. Just so you know. In particular, I have to. I'm gonna try to be nice because I don't have anything against this person, but I'm gonna have to call this out. Aiden Paladin, who again, I don't have anything against them, but they did tweet something which is very bewildering to me. Made a comment that Christ is Kang, one of my favorite expressions. Whenever anyone says Christ is Kang, you know that they mean business. My favorite thing about Christ is Kang as an expression is that it's an unassailable position. It doesn't matter what denomination. It's like you say, "Oh, I'm Catholic." You're like, the Pope's a pedophile, right? Or you say that you're a Calvinist. Like, well, you're definitely going to hell. So you say what denomination you are, and people will bully you for it, even if they're also Christian, right? But believing in Jesus is the fundamental unifying factor of all denominations. So it's the least scrutable thing you could possibly say, right? So that's and it also it's in your heart. It's in your heart and mind, right? If you say Christ is king, that's up to you. That's between you and Jeebus, right? So nobody can say that you're a hypocrite ever. It's not like a position that you can take where people can say, well, you're not acting very Christianly by your own definition over here because you're contradicting yourself with your words and behavior. Nobody can ever call you up, which is why it's a favorite of people like Baked Alaska and Ethan Ralph, and I just find it a very empty sentiment. The other thing that really is interesting to me is that I know Aiden's a Jew, so I don't know if they're a Jew for Jesus or what the deal is here, but I find that very confusing. And I find it even more fascinating that they say that they're turning to Christ's kingdom as an answer, because they're so emotionally distraught by the Rittenhouse trial. She says here, please be aware of what's happening here. He's laughing at Kyle, recalling an event that is likely induced by PTSD. This is the current zeitgeist. I'm very upset having to look at people being killed in this trial. It makes me want to vomit, but it just betrays that some people cannot understand that others feel the way that I feel when it comes to see such human suffering, let alone Kyle. I think my black pilling is complete. And then she says down here, my last message in this thread is that I want to say I'm very glad I turned to Christ, because otherwise I don't know how I would have been able to integrate this shit into my cognitive framework. Well, there is something that I would like to share, and it is technically a prayer, but it's conventional wisdom, I would say. It's something that I think every adult needs to know, and it's called the Serenity Prayer. And I think, and I knew this, 10 years ago. It's one of my favorite things. It's very succinct. Very accurate. It's accurate to all people. And if you don't know what the Serenity Prayer is, it goes, Father, give us the courage to change what must be changed, serenity to accept what cannot be helped, and the insight to know one from the other. So, courage to change what has to be changed, serenity to accept things that cannot be changed, and the wisdom or insight to know the difference. And when you look at Rittenhouse, you should know immediately this is something totally out of your fucking control. There's no reason to sit here and go, oh my God, these Twitter communists are bullying Rittenhouse for having PTSD. Oh, it's so blackpilling. Oh, the humiliation. Our society is beyond repair and yada, yada, yada. It's like, who gives a fuck? You have to let that which does not matter truly slide. If you think the Serenity Prayer is gay, I'll turn to Fight Club. Exhibit B. Let that which does not matter truly slide. Does this motherfucker truly matter? No. Let it slide. Who gives a shit? If you're seriously depressed because of this Rittenhouse trial and you're very emotionally invested in the outcome of it, there is not a fucking thing you can do. So you might as well turn off brain, go get an ice cream or something. I don't know. Cope with your problems in healthier ways than binge eating ice cream, I suppose, is a better answer. But literally do anything else is preferable. Don't you post the shadaha in my chat when I'm talking about the Serenity Prayer, you motherfucker. Don't dilate. Exactly. Okay, that's my little bullying of the Aiden Paladin. Hopefully they don't take it too seriously. They have taken my bullying seriously in the past, which is why I feel compelled to put up a no bully sign first and foremost. And I know they watch my streams, but I felt very inclined. Anyways, I'm not putting up my no bully warning for Ralph. He's just got to take it. So I put Ralph here because I would like to segue from the Rittenhouse trial into Ralph. And there is conjoining fiber here. Ethan has been streaming the Rittenhouse trial on Odyssey, getting between 75 and about 400 absolute tops watching his trial coverage, which isn't surprising for being low numbers, because what does he have to offer? Literally, what does Ralph have to offer a discussion about Rittenhouse? And the answer is not much. From what I've seen, he literally goes about 5 minutes at a time without saying anything, which is expected. He's not a lawyer. How do you stream the Rittenhouse trial without being an attorney or anything? Though I don't know. I mean, I watched the Justice Kavanaugh hearing with him and Nora, and that was a lot of fun. But that was also super weird because it wasn't a proper trial. It was like the Democrats were bringing in these witnesses to accuse Kavanaugh of rape, and I still remember that they asked her, "How did you know he was laughing at you after you were raped?" Something like that, and her answer was, "It was indelible in the hippocampus." Or something like something fucking stupid, like utterly bizarre that no normal human being would ever fucking say. And the media was like, she dropped some big doctor medical bombs on the Kavanaugh here, and here's what you need to know. What does indelible in the hippocampus even mean? Find out on ABC7 tonight. And it was just like fucking clown world. So it was funny all on its own. But Ralph's just like sitting there grumpy faced watching this shit for 8 hours a day, every day for weeks. And it's like, nobody can stand to watch this. Meanwhile, on the flip side, new blood enemy, Rekieta, Nicholas Robert Rekieta, the Polish man with the big honker, of questionable ethnic origin, though I believe he has said that he is not ethnically Jewish. It's hard to tell with Poles, though. They do got the big nose. Anyways, Ralph hates him now because Rekieta made he like crinkled up his face after Ralph shit his pants. He's like, "Eh." And Ralph was like, "You motherfucker, you'll never live this down, sir." So now he's super pissed at Rekieta. Meanwhile, Rekieta is on YouTube, and he's putting on a good show. He's invited all the YouTube lawyers. All the YouTube lawyers are on this fucking, like, I don't know what it is. It's like a go-to-meeting or something. Anyways, they're all there. You have, like, 9 different people. You got a black guy that's a lawyer. You got you got several women who are lawyers. You got some country boys who are lawyers. You have Ty Beard. You have Barnes, who is my attorney in one of the states. I think he's a Wisconsin attorney. I want to say, because I think Patrick Tomlinson subpoenaed me from Wisconsin, and Barnes addressed that for the forum and for me in Wisconsin, and I think he also did something in California for me because it involved Cloudflare, because whatever reason Tomlinson subpoenaed fucking Cloudflare, and never heard anything else from Tomlinson after Barnes was involved. So that's one legal issue that was tied up immediately. So it was a lot of money, but it went away. So I guess it's worth the money, right? He's there. Anyways, lots of lawyers, people that people know and like, and all these viewers are coming in, and Rekieta's hitting like 75,000 people on YouTube. Huge numbers. That's like a VTuber kind of a pull. 75,000 live viewers, not views, individuals tuned in watching live. He had his chat on like 60-second cooldown, and it was busier than my chat ever gets. Unbelievable amounts of momentum. Really just stellar. It's the best you could ever, literally the best you could ever hope for. 3 times higher than like Medicare's largest stream. So he's completely shot out of the orbit of whatever you want to say, this sector, as Ralph puts it. He's doing well. Like, congratulations. But 2 weeks ago, Ralph declared him his blood enemy. So Ralph, of course, is not taking it very well at all. He says, in reply to Dark Joe 400 says, "Your comment is fair considering Ralph was doing crying Wojak meme face with Rekieta. Huge success with the trial coverage this week. Can slightly understand paying up a one-sided beef for pay pigs, but shot himself in the foot, burning bridge with Rekieta before the trial. Dark Joe has some issues with the spelling department, but I'm not one to talk. I live, no, then again, I don't know. It's like, you have your keyboard to help you out. It'll squiggle shit that's wrong. Ethan replies to his fan, who is not wrong here. It's not a good idea to shoot yourself in the fucking foot by distancing yourself from other people who are successful. He says, not all of us suck dick for clout, Lamau. I regret not one word and enjoyed my 1,000 live today during the trial much more than I would have enjoyed licking some shyster's ass, 100% emoji. And quite frankly, Rekieta had me on his show a grand total of 1 time, and it was back when I got kicked off YouTube. So if he had 17 or 170,000 live and we were still cool, it would mean nothing to me. The Rekieta stream has never done shit for Ethan Ralph. That's a great thing to shoot out there. Hey, everybody, just so you know, I value you in terms of what you do for me. And I have no interest in enjoying success with anybody. And if you associate with me, I will stab you in the back the second that I deem that you're not even like a detriment to me, but just not a benefit enough. Just so you know. And I can probably guess why. Like, when do I show up on Rekieta's stream? I showed up like a couple of times to talk about people, talk about Chris, talk about DSP, talk about Melinda Scott, and Ralph. So people, which is my sphere, right? I talk about people. I try to keep up on drama. People say I don't do a very good job, and I think DSP fans are still mad at me for getting so much wrong talking to Rekieta about his lawsuit. But I tried my best, I promise. So it's not like I was invited to the lawyer stream. It's like, hey, Josh, you want to come on my lawyer stream so you can input absolutely nothing relevant and just throw up your donation link at the end? It's like, oh yeah, of course, I'd love to, Nick. I can guess why Rekieta doesn't have him on, and it's because he doesn't fucking do anything. He has no realm of expertise. And that's a bit of a detriment when you're trying to do a show. You have to have something that you're actually good at. And all that Ralph is good at is shitting himself and yelling at people, which is why I pay attention to him. I mean, it works on me, I guess. I'm a big fan. I love it when Ralph shits himself and yells at people. I think that shit's entertaining. I'm a minority, but I do share that interest with somebody else that I'll mention in a second. So just to recap, these are Ralph's legal issues. This is all summed up nicely by Sam Losko, who's giving me a big old thumbs up right now and is, oh god, that's a really scary picture. Is that May? Is that May in that background? That's terrifying. He has a nice list of all of Ralph's legal issues. And then in particular, this one is Matthew Vickers versus Ethan Ralph. Oh, that's Gator. That's Gator's eyes. Wonderful. And the revenge porn is a criminal case from the state of Virginia versus Ralph. And there is the aid restraining order. There's also another restraining order between Faith, who is his first and only child for now, mother, in California. So that's all happening concurrently, which is really hard to keep track of. So if you noticed, I tend not to mention Melinda too much. I tend not to mention Greer too much unless there are developments in the trial, because that is what you're legally advised to do. Sorry, I had pizza today, so I'm clearing my throat. I'm having to mute my mic while I do it so I don't gross everybody out. But good idea not to talk about ongoing legal issues. Ralph has heard of that. He just doesn't care. So as he's currently in the process of fighting 2 restraining orders, he says this: my ex-GF, who is pursuing me in the courts and trying to silence me publicly, has decided to share a false story about my driving today. Well, your pussy was loose, Faith. Never seen that on a 19-year-old before, but there's a first time for everything. Total self-owned. I don't know. Ralph in particular loves to do this, but I don't know why people in general do this. If you say shitty things about your ex, all you're saying is that you have terrible decision-making skills. Like, yeah, I pick up trash. Yeah, all I can do is fuck loose whores from California. I'm just fucking felted constantly. My only success is with people like May and Faith, who are loose and or horses. And it's also, it's when you say, okay, it's like, so you're saying that this young woman has a loose vagina. Well, maybe it's because you have a tiny dick, Ralph. That might be the problem here, is that if you're having these kind of frictional issues, it may just be that you have a micro penis. Which is definitely fucking true, and that we've all seen at this point. So there's no point even trying to lie about it. I don't know why he tries to say that he has like a 20-inch dick still. after we've seen this little half hot dog waving around underneath a flap of skin while Faith desperately tries to impregnate herself on it for some completely indiscernible reason, for some utterly incomprehensible reason, trying to impregnate herself on the hot dog. And then he's like, she was loose. Like, okay, Ralph, I'm sorry, you can't do better. He started saying that he might need a legal fund. I'm trying to think. Okay, yeah, this is about Matthew Vickers trying to gag order him like was done with aid. And he says, I'll save most of it for the legal fund post, lol, but it looks like the specious attacks via the courts aren't going to cease, though. That's okay. It was quite expected. Give, Send, Go will be set up soon. I'm going to hire a lawyer on Monday, and anything there will go straight to them. I'll be paying him or her out of my own money too, I'm sure, but this fund will be exclusively for my civil and family court legal representation and that of the shows. If entities want to use the courts to try and shut me down, I might as well use what I have to try and combat it. The thing that Matthew Vickers is trying to stop Ethan Ralph from doing is publicly tweeting that his daughter and the mother of Ralph's child has a loose pussy, by his own words. And, of course, Pantsu, who considers herself an upgrade from Faith for reasons unknown, because Faith actually looks like a woman, and who I would not believe is a woman if not for the fact that she is ostensibly pregnant, but we will see if that's actually true. Pantsu says, this is, I can't do an anime uwu voice, but she said, this is what Vickers are doing by trying to drag their private affairs onto social media and are now harassing innocent people, ensuring their daughter's most embarrassing moment is immortalized on the lowercase I internet. And Carmela Saldavia says, sleeping with Ralph like you're doing now. And she has to clarify, obviously referring to the embarrassment of having a sex tape released. It's really like, okay, I remember I've brought this up before, but I remember when I first was trying to figure out what May's deal was, I said that she probably had some sort of like monkey branching gambit. She was going to hop between celebs. And then I quickly realized that, oh no, she's just fucking stupid. This is another one. She set herself up for a cell phone. And then, she doesn't realize, even at this point, that if anything happens between her and Ralph, Ralph will be on fucking Twitter saying that she was a loose-ass, horse-faced, cunt, vagina, Jew, whore, bitch, slut, and she's just oblivious to it, that she's up next. She just doesn't have a clue. And she also doesn't, I mean, I guess she thinks the sex tape is based, right? That the sex tape was leaked by Ralph. Like, that's what she fucking gets for I love this new convention of my fans trying to bully me by spelling internet with a low, in all caps except for the I. Lowercase internet. Yeah, whatever. So, while this is happening, while Vickers is actively pursuing him for a litany of reasons, he decides that he would put out this message. And I would, if I had to make a list of top 10 stupid fucking things that Ralph has done, this tweet might be up in there. This is a particularly short-sighted, stupid fucking thing to say. He says, I don't care who posts it or shares it. I'm not going to let someone shit talk me without me being able to respond. I'd rather it cost money. I'd rather it cost jail. I'd rather it cost leaving this country. And I'd rather it cost me death. I'm not faking the deal. I'm 100% serious. So he's saying, I'm dangerous. I'm prepared to fight this in court, no matter the expense. I'm prepared to go to jail over this. I'm a flight risk. I'm an active flight risk. I am prepared to flee my fucking country. I am prepared to fly to Serbia to start raising pigeons and banana peppers over letting Faith have a single day of peace where I do not call her a loose pussy. And I'd rather die than lose this case. I am prepared to potentially end up dead fighting this. So, I mean, again, I'm not legally minded, but if I'm a judge and I'm seeing because remember, domestic violence courts and family courts are a different ball game. This isn't defamation. This is like a judge who has seen, any judge with tenure has seen shit where a husband or ex or father will say something like this, and then someone ends up fucking dead after they say it. Like, he's flashing back to that time where he let a message like this slide, and then he showed up, the guy that he was litigating, showed up at his baby mama's house with a baseball bat and clubbed her to death and then shot himself. Like, that's in the judge's mind when he reads a tweet like this. It's one of the dumbest fucking things you could ever possibly say. Really, and I want to put this out there too. Don't leave the country. We live in a society, chat. We live in a society where people like Melinda Scott are free to abuse the court system day in and day out, and she never once at any point in her life has to think that anything extrajudicial will ever happen to her. She is perfectly safe, perfectly happy. She doesn't have any fears. And she is able to be such a blight that she is without any sort of consequences outside of the court system, because we live in a nice, safe, happy country called the United States, or at least she does. And the rest of the world is not the United States. If you go to a place like Mexico and you treat girls there like you treat Faith, you will end up beheaded. If you've seen that video of the cartels feeding a guy's dick while he's still alive to a pig, that would be Ralph. Like in a fucking year, in a nanosecond, he would be split open by the cartels. If he were to go to Mexico and knock up some chick and call her a loose pussy on fucking Twitter, the same way that he's into Faith, he would not live to tell the tale. He would not be blabbing on Twitter. So Ralph, for your own good, stay in the United States. And consider getting an attorney to approve your tweets before you start running your fucking mouth and saying stupid shit like this. That's going to put you in jail, because I don't want you in jail and I don't want you dead, because you're very funny and I enjoy talking about you on my podcast. So let's it's quid pro quo, right? I'm keeping you alive. I'm keeping you on the street with my good advice, and I get content for my stream. Let's cool our jets here, my friend. Come to Brazil. The judge is going to bang his gavel and says 3 years in Brazil, and the bailiffs will be dragging him out of the court and be like, I don't want to go to Brazil, any place but Brazil. And then he gets sent out to the fucking Amazon, and people would find him a couple of years later, and he'd be covered in like the red face paint and like living with an uncontacted tribe talking in grunts. No, not the favela. Oh my god. They kill Westerners that show up to those fucking favelas. They'll give you a necklace if you do that. Don't go to foreign countries and fuck with them and show up at favelas, and don't go to Brazil. That's my advice to anyone who would listen. Anyways, Ralph crashed his car. In an infinite litany of good decisions and good life choices, he somehow ends up in the how do I put this politically correct? He ends up in one of the most culturally diverse. Aha! I found the answer. You know exactly what I mean when I say culturally diverse. You mean not diverse at all, just the opposite. He ends up in the most culturally diverse area in the country, one of the most, called Prince George County. Sounds very British, sounds very pompish. It's actually not. It's a shithole. It's in Maryland, right next to a little city called Washington, D.C., and he ends up completely T-boned in an intersection. So, what I understand, he's in D.C., doing a documentary with Jacob Wool. I've done a stream on Wool. Coincidentally, small world, right? I've done a stream on Wool because at the time I was trying to do a person stream like every other week, and really, chat doesn't even know about this. Yeah, no shit. He's in Washington D.C. every on weekends filming a documentary, and he's doing a thing with Jacob Wool that is not a joke. And if you don't know who Jacob Wool is, he's the person I did a stream on. And I wanted to do a stream on a right-wing locale at the time because I did a lot of stuff on trannies and stuff. And I'm like, I feel like I'm playing for a team here. I need to balance this out. Let me punch right for a second. And my choice of punching right was to punch very right and very down, and that was Jacob Wool. Wool is the definition of controlled opposition. The man is, you're speaking about sucking dick for clout. You're talking about sucking a man's asshole, a shyster's asshole. That is Jacob Wool to a T. Jacob Wool is a literal, by definition, criminally prosecuted scam artist. He is on the books. The feds have prosecuted him. He is on the books as being a scammer. He's not allowed to do business. He's not allowed to do equity trading or something because he like he did. I can't remember now. It's been so long since the stream, but he's like federally barred from doing equity trades because he was a scammer. And this is the person that Ralph has decided to hitch his wagon to. He's going to actually go to Washington, D.C., the radioactive glow in the dark, it's like lighthouse on a hill, right? It's a glowing in the dark lighthouse on a hill. He has been drawn like a moth to the flame, and now he's doing a thing with some shyster named Jacob Wool, who is if I had to pick a person to do business with, Jacob Wool would probably be on the bottom. Like, even doing something with Crisis Kang, Milo Yiannopoulos, who's a coal-burning, Jewish, British, homosexual man who is like a Christian LARPer. At least he has done good business. At some point in his life, he has done good business. He's probably poor now, but he's done good business. As opposed to Jacob Wool, who has never been successful. He is like, the way I described him on my streams is he's like Eddie from Ed, and Eddie, where he's just like, I got a scam, guys. We're going to get some quarters for some jawbreakers. And he's just like a bumbling idiot who completely falls flat on his face constantly. And this is the person that Ralph goes up to see in Washington, D.C. And as an act of God, he is, not even, he's T-boned in the intersection. And he's, dork. God hates dorks. That's right. He ends up T-boning in the intersection. I know 100% just based on the fact that he's fucking. I'm trying to fix that. I'm trying to be a good boy. I'm trying to fix saying and I'm trying to fix filling gaps between sentences with swear words. Chat. I'm working on my elocution, as they would say. So if he wasn't at fault, he would be lambasting the other party. They would be at fault. They were the worst driver I've ever seen. I had the green and he T-boned me. I think he was drunk. Like, he would be going on and on. He'd be posting pictures of this guy to Twitter and he's not doing that. So I know he's at fault, right? Or at least I would assume so. And somehow, actually, you know what? I have this sound clip that I'll play. And this is him essentially admitting that he's at fault, as far as I'm concerned. I have this sound clip.
Oh, another trip to court. Yeah. Oh no! I mean, they just gave me a ticket for missing the light. It wasn't even that big a ticket. Like, it's not gonna be. I wasn't. No, I mean, you're gonna have to drag this guy through fucking traffic. Oh well, yeah. Who knows what's gonna happen with all that? I ain't worried about that. I got Progressive. They'll fuck with that too. It's not a big deal. It's not like a. I wasn't drunk driving or anything like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not the end of the world. It's just some shit I gotta deal with. I've had to deal with it before. Thankfully, I will say this. Thank God it was in Maryland in one respect. I have a feeling if it was in Virginia, they would have found a way to put some more fucking, traffic charges on my ass. He gave me one $90 ticket. It's like the lowest ticket you can get, basically.
It's kind of ironic, isn't it?
Kind of a fucking legend is what it kind of fucking is.
That's the real damage. And by the way, 90.
So the conversation there admits several things. Number one, it admits that he ran a red light, which, I mean, automatically he's at fault if he's running a red light. Number two, he admits that if it was in Virginia, he probably would have lost his license automatically. And number three, he probably wasn't piss tested. Because if he was piss tested, I have a feeling that the night before, I think there was a GIF from the night before, he was caught on camera, leaning off camera and then like shaking, like anxiously, because he had just it looked like he had done coke, like a line of coke. And if they piss tested him at that crash, coke stays in your system for 3 days. So he would be instantly at fault. DUI charge. Lose your license. Insurance doesn't pay out. He would be screwed. So it really depends on if they pee tested him. And I don't think they did. Or he would be a lot less confident about the situation. There is more to this. What's this video? Oh yeah, here. This is the video that I mentioned. So you see, he comes off the side of the screen and he's just immediately playing with his nose. I don't know. I always assume the worst about Ralph because I'm usually right to do so. But look at this. Look at him. Look at him. Look at this. What's he doing down there, chat? What is this man doing? It's a real mystery, isn't it? Here, I'll zoom in for you so you can see. Although I can't. I shouldn't do this because the interpolation in the video is causing new pixels to be added where it wasn't in the original footage. That's a Rittenhouse joke if you don't get that. It's not very funny, but it's topical. It's a weekly stream. I have to be topical. It has to be. He's doing coke. Anyways, so he totals his car. And then immediately he starts bitching about Vickers. This is what's on his mind. I have no doubt that if he didn't run a red light, he was probably reading the Kiwi Farms on his phone or something. He says, on the day I almost got killed, a party who has tried... Now he's just saying a party ambiguously. He's not saying that loose anus Mr. Vickers, who has tried to criminalize my speech with lies, sent out more lies about my driving. I will never be silent in such a scenario. I'd much rather be in jail than now down to a phony setup like that. And I'll have my day in court. In the last 2 months, this party and their affiliates have messaged my guests, attacked my fiancée. Wait. Oh, no. I thought, okay. I thought he had used the male version of fiance. I guess that's how you spell it. I was very excited there. I thought he accidentally implied that Fancy was a man. Attacked my fiance, talked about me personally, talked about my mother, my family, everything you can imagine. I will never be silent in the face of that. Never. They would have to kill me. And then Hugo says, holy shit, bro, they talked about you. That is unacceptable. Stay strong, brother. That guy got blocked for that. And this is the best part. I hinted at this earlier, but this is my favorite part of this. He says, and I quote, I was talking to the total loss guy from Progressive just now, and I swear to God on my mother's grave that he goes, your voice sounds familiar. Do you know the Kill Stream? I said, yes, that's me. I host the Kill Stream. He started laughing and said, that's awesome. He listens from time to time, etc. Keep in mind, he already had my name and knows it's me, but I was very tickled by this nonetheless. Ha 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 ha. This has never happened to me in my life. A customer service guy recognizes me, LOL. It was pretty cool. I wish it was during something other than total loss insurance call, but still. I recognize your voice. Do you know the man at the internet? I like how me and this brother, we are kindred spirits. This progressive total loss insurance agent. If you're out there, we are both people interested in total losses. And yes, I stole that joke from PPP. It's just perfect. It's just perfect. It's such a joke. It's such a, I don't know. Do you believe? Let's tell. You know, I fixed my fucking I fixed my chat so that no, it was not Flo. He said it was a guy. I'm pretty sure Flo's not a guy. I could be wrong though. Did you know that she's from Uzbekistan? Isn't that strange? She's a Jewish woman from Uzbekistan. And I know that because it got brought up on poll a lot when people like to post her. What was I going to say? Oh, do you believe Ralph's epic story? Rare, made up. Nuh-uh. Okay, chat. Look, see, it shows up. Look, chat, it shows up on the overlay. The polls do now. You know how long it took me to get OBS set up on Linux? It took me forever. I had to compile things by hand. I hate doing that. It's such bullshit. Because there's always like another dependency you have to compile by yourself. 80% out of 500 votes say no. We have to stop the steal. I believe Ralph. I believe that out of the 400 people tops who watch his stream every day, one of them is a total loss agent from Progressive. It has to be, statistically speaking, it has to be true. Oh, two more things actually. Quick things. We got shit to do. We got shit to talk about today. This is Ethan Ralph's bruised titty. That is not photoshopped. This man was in a serious car accident and he does not have health insurance, so he's not going to go see a doctor. But he is going to stew in his own bruise. And you know, just kind of, you know, wing it like an alpha male. He's not going to go see no fucking doctor. I don't see no fucking doctor. Me and my mama, anytime something was wrong with me, she just gave me a little bit of heroin, and it soothed all my aches and pains, and I follow that tradition to this day. So he's sitting there all fucked up, and he's not going to see anyone about it. Good for him, I guess. That poor, his like body is just like completely battered in every possible way. He's got psychological stress. He's got physical stress from being in car accidents. He's got liver stress, which fucks up your heart. And then he's eating $84 plain beef steaks all the time. Like, and you know, all of that right there, like, you know what a stroke is, right? You know what a heart attack is, right? It's like when a blood clot, which is a scab, you know, a scab in your veins, platelets sticking together, shoots up into your brain, and then you fucking die. Or it shoots into your heart and you die. So all of that right there, all that redding and stuff, that's all platelets that are coagulating together to heal. And they all pose a significant risk to an unhealthy individual like Ralph. So he could literally just drop dead at any point right now, because he's not in a good position. He's probably one of the least healthy 36-year-olds on the planet. And the same day as we got the booba reveal, I think Ralph forgot May's birthday. He didn't say anything about it until like after people started making fun of him on the forum. So he takes her out, and this dinner came after her birthday was on November 9th. So he takes her out to, wait, my notes say November 9th. This tweet says November 11th. November 9th. November 11th. I think those are 2 days apart, chat. So I guess he took her out 2 days later. That's punctual, right? I don't think anyone would be upset. Any woman on the planet would possibly be upset if their boyfriend, fiance in this case, forgot about their birthday for 2 days and then took him out to a steakhouse so that he can order another 24-ounce cut of plain beef. At least this one has sides. She's covering her mouth. I don't know why. I don't know if it's like an uwu anime thing. That's what trannies do. Trannies want to cover like half their face because they got really long faces. They love those masks just because they cover half their face. So this one, and then I want to point out she's eating plain, like a rare steak that almost looks blue. That's really fucking rare. It could be just lighting, but I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure pregnant women aren't supposed to eat like rare food because they're particularly vulnerable to like infections and parasites and stuff. What do I know? I'm a retard. I'm a retard, chat. In case you don't know, don't rely on me for anything. Steak with hollandaise. I believe. I actually don't know what that is. It could be white gravy. That's what Americans like on their stuff. They like white gravy, not hollandaise. You were correct about the Predators, Jerish. Thank you, Newmaker and other person. Chris210. That and shit. Yeah, whatever. Oh, well, enjoy. I hope for her sake, I hope she's satisfied. I hope she's happy with all her life choices that have led up to this, to having, a steak dinner while pregnant 2 days after her birthday as like an afterthought so that he can post to Twitter that he actually took her out for dinner. Whatever. I hope for her sake she's content, because I don't want this kid to the kid is so doomed. I don't even want to say that, but it's doomed. And there's a difference between like having a rough childhood versus like being destined for complete and total abject misery for your entire life. I hope that the needle is pointing rough childhood and not like doom. But it's hard to say at this point in time. Anyways, that's enough about Ralph. Let's continue. We're only like a third of the way through shit. I got my favorite, my boy. My dude, Jim Sterling, has put out some content that I'm excited for to share with everybody. So I'm gonna get my timestamps, and this is on NFTs, which has become a talking point that angers me beyond comprehension.
Everyone, James Stephanie Sterling here, a gay embarrassment. Ever since my last video where I talked about the transphobia I've been receiving, I've been inundated with a groundswell of transphobia. I've had a lot of lovely comments telling me I will never be a woman, no matter how many hormones I take, no matter what kind of lovely dresses or wigs I wear, no matter how much I apparently mutilate myself, I will never be a woman.
Yep. Okay, and then at 2:19, he starts explaining NFTs, and this is a talking point I hear more and more, and it's driving me crazy.
Head. For those who don't know, and I'm sorry that I have to be the one to explain this, NFTs are an ingenious way that capitalism has been able to double dip on other people's labour by selling the rights to artistic works they don't even necessarily fucking own. Essentially, they let parasitic capitalists make money from someone else's work by doing precisely none themselves, again, like a billionaire. Here's how NFTs, aka non-fungible tokens, astoundingly work. Some idiot spends a ridiculous amount of money to claim they own a piece of media, except they don't. They own a digital receipt that says they own something to which they have no tangible rights. What makes them so allegedly amazing is that they can't be duplicated. They're verified and stored by the blockchain, another thing I'm sick of hearing about. But once again, they don't actually confer ownership of what's being sold. They merely let some random goofball claim they own it.
So that is true regardless of your transaction medium. I didn't even think about this the first time I heard it and I clipped it out. But that's like, if I say to you all, I own this website called the Kiwi Farms. I'm going to sell you the trademark for Kiwi Farms, and if you give me, whatever, about $3, I'll give it to you, right? And you're like, oh, okay, well, here's $3. And then I say, okay, well, you own it. Here's the contract that says you own it, and have fun with that. And then you go to try and enforce it and say, look, I bought the trademark for Kiwi Farms for $3.50. And you have to give me control over this now. And the person who actually owns it is just like, well, you didn't buy it from me, and I'm the one that owns it. Well, congratulations. You just wasted your fucking money, right? It's exactly how it works with regular contracts is what I'm saying. So virtual contracts aren't any different. Though you could theoretically, like, okay, let's say this. Theoretically speaking, let's say that I won from Melinda Scott as a settlement for the thousands of dollars she will owe me. Let's say I got the right to her books that she's published about crystals. And then I took this book and the rights that I have to this book, and I put it on a digital marketplace and auctioned it in Ethereum. And then you bought it as an NFT. I would be more than, you would then have a digital receipt proving that you bought this from me and that you then own the rights to that book. That is theoretically something that could happen. That would be no different than me auctioning the rights to these books on eBay, is my point. So that's step one. It's a bullshit argument. You can do that with anything.
And if the value comes from it being unable to be duplicated, from there being only one of it, why isn't my penis worth millions of dollars? Near as I can tell, ain't nobody reproduced my little dicklet. Why don't I put that on the market? Wait a minute, someone's gonna fucking do that now, because they don't have to own my cock to apparently sell it. Some fucking dickhead sells the rights to own something they don't actually own to somebody who won't actually own it, and that's it. That's an NFT. The biggest seller is digital artwork, though it could also be used to claim meaningless ownership over websites, music, and as that prick Jack Dorsey demonstrated, even tweets.
Can you imagine buying the rights to a tweet? Where is, oh, this, I got to it. There's a part that I really, really want to show everybody.
Perhaps the most valueless things on God's green earth. Speaking of God's green earth, another thing NFTs are known for is destroying the planet, aka the thing we all fucking live on. In the middle of a global climate crisis, it was decided by utter that what we needed was a literally worthless cottage industry that has severe impacts on the environment. Cryptocurrency in general is shit for this. Mining pretend money for profit is an energy-intensive process requiring a lot of computing power and graphics cards that no one else can buy now, which in turn creates more pollution. NFTs pile on top of that with further intensive computer transactions. It is basically the absolute last thing we need right now as the world hurtles toward inhospitable environments, uncontrollable temperatures, and what will likely become horrific food and water shortages. It's the worst thing to happen at the worst time for it. Also,
okay, so keep that in mind. I'm not gonna debunk the whole fire thing, the whole climate shit just yet. I want to get to this point, because I find this also interesting.
He did admit, at least, that NFTs are kind of a scam, which is fucking bold when he's making money off the back of art he didn't create. He did not consult with any of the artists, many of whom spoke out against the practice, and demonstrated just how little consent is needed for someone's labour to be sold with no benefit to them, or indeed the person being sold to. And by little consent, I mean none. Absolutely no consent required. That was bad, but what's true...
So one of his main arguments is that NFTs are bad because do not steal. Literally, we're back to, like, these are people, the donut steal people of the past are now crying that people are selling their art on Ethereum auction houses and they don't consent to it, which is something that obviously never happens in any other medium, right? Nobody else has ever stolen art and sold it before. The whole bitching about consent shit is I think that's like a communist, like a literal, like he's trying to slide into the communism stuff and just be like, we have to seize the means of production and we have to give art back to artists and shit. I put off the whole thing about the climate because I wanted to skip to this part at the very, very end.
Sale of tangible, not so crap. I am, of course, talking about the shit I sell at thegimporium.com. We have a restock of this incredibly ludicrously popular shirt. The gays can do whatever they want. We've sold out every single time we've stocked. We have them now. We're going to have some vests as well, some tank toppy vest things. They are going to be in stock from 11.
So I want you guys to think about this. I know that cryptocurrency mining is processor intensive, and I know that it has an energy demand to it. Right, that's a true thing. And to compare this to merchandise, for instance, my silver coins, a tangible, real product. First, the ground must be struck. The silver must be mined out of the earth in massive pits in expansive caverns, which are held up by support structures of timber, which are brought in from forests, which require petroleum to logistically bring the timber from the, and of course each of the all the timber harvesters use special tools that come from all over the world, especially China, and those each require petroleum to deliver. And then you bring the timber into the cave, you set up the cave so that it doesn't collapse, you mine the ore, you take the ore out. Well, now you have ore that's not very usable. You break it up and you use a specific chemical to create a slush. Basically, you grind it out very fine, and then you use a chemical to create a toxic mix between silver and this other chemical, and I forget the name of it. And then you somehow use another chemical process to extract the silver into dust. Then you take that, you put it in a kiln, you melt it down. Each of these things require logistical transports to be made. You then take that, you then strike it. The dyes have to be crafted. They have to be the silver has to be transported out, and they have to be melted down again. They have to be struck as granules, and then they're sent out to a distribution company, which sends it out to another company. It's like every step of this way is a massive nightmare if you really get into it and you think about it. The amount of petroleum required, the amount of plastics used, the amount derived from that petroleum, the sheer resource intensiveness to do anything, even if you're just selling t-shirts. Like, you think that cotton, it doesn't require, energy to grow. It doesn't require water to grow. It doesn't require space to grow. Trust me, it does. If it's polyester, that's petroleum. All of this shit is a huge web that seriously impacts the world. And as you sit there and you bitch, and comparatively, Bitcoin is very simple. If you have a very clean source of power like nuclear energy, which has relatively zero waste compared to anything else, and then you take that power and you plug it into a GPU, which was made in China, probably in one district, so very resource efficient, and then it computes some numbers, and now you have a currency which transacts on the fucking internet as instantaneous and as energy efficient as possible. I would love to see a study about how much it would take to create like $100 worth of Bitcoin by mining versus how much resources and energy it would take to create $100 worth of merchandise profit. Because I guarantee you that that you would be surprised by how much it is. Like, people are always shocked by how much meat they eat, and then how much energy goes into meat production, like how much space we have to create just to accommodate the cattle. People would be flabbergasted by how much resources they consume, which is why it's a great thing that Nigeria will have a population of 1 billion in the next 20 years. Transacting 1 billion in Bitcoin costs $20. Well, that's just the transaction. Mining it and stuff is another story. I'm sure that's more resource intensive and stuff. I don't know. I'm really afraid of this climate stuff because I can see what they're doing with it. They've got the neighbor cattle. They got a herd of neighbor cattle, and they're saying, "Giddy up, neighbor cattle! Got a herd of neighbor cattle. Got a herd of neighbor cattle," and they're docile. And when we tell them that this threat to our fiat currency is bad for the environment, they're just like, okay, I believe you. I don't understand it, so I believe what you say. You're the experts from whatever fucking news agency. And the alternative will be like, wait, we can save cryptocurrency, neighbor cattle. We've got this great solution. Instead of using proof of work, we'll use proof of stake. How does proof of stake work? Well, instead of doing these super complicated computations to mine, we just have a few trusted nodes that don't require any extra resources to run, no more than any other internet service, and they do the validating because they're trusted. And it's like, oh, of course, that's great. That's wonderful. Then we only have 8 trusted nodes to verify these transactions. Who are the nodes? We'll give them to people that are really good at security. We'll give them to JP Morgan Chase, and we'll give them to the large credit unions, and we'll give them to all the Federal Reserve. They'll keep track of these master nodes, and they'll be super good for the environment, and they'll even pay carbon tax. And they're like, oh, this is wonderful. This is good for the environment. And they're like, oh, okay, we'll call this Ripple. It'll be super efficient, and it's a good cryptocurrency. We'll let you trade in Ripple, but don't you fucking dare touch Bitcoin. Don't you fucking dare touch Monero, you neighbor cattle. You fat, gay neighbor cattle. Anyways. Ripple died. They'll replace it. We'll try again. We'll try again once it's it'll be called Eco Token, Eco Coin. It'll have the currency symbol will be like the little leaf for Animal Crossing, and it'll be Eco Token. And instead of paying miners a mining fee, we'll just take 5% of your transaction fee and put it towards planting trees. And everyone will clap, and it'll be great. And Jim Sterling will approve of it, because nobody gets ripped off. At least not in an immediately obvious way. Anyways, okay, that's me ranting about Jim Sterling. I talked about the YouTube dislike stuff. It is now time to talk about Lowtax, who is fucking dead. In case you do not know, Richard Lowtax Kayanka, founder of Something Awful, is dead at 45, reports Vice News. We also reported it. It came from a video I'm not going to play. It's an old Something Awful guy. He's astoundingly Jewish looking, which is why it's not surprising at all when he tries to tell a story to make Lowtax seem like a humble, nice, relatable guy. And you know what? Fuck it. I'll just play the story. Hold up. I really love this story from this guy.
But she was an infant at the time, and we were coming back from a Royals game. Probably we're in the parking lot searching for the car, and his daughter goes, "Oh, Daddy, I need to pee or whatever." And Riches tries to get her into a porta potty. She didn't want to do it, and then of course, not surprisingly, while riding on Rich's arms, I mean, it's not his arms, his shoulders. How could I confuse the body parts? I'm in mourning. So, anyways, while she was, riding on Rich's shoulders, an accident. And it went all over the place, and, just liquid dripping off his shirt. And his daughter was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to." And Rich didn't even yelp with disgust, as I surely would. He didn't make her feel bad. He didn't get mad. He just said, "That's all right." And, it was just like, don't worry about it. Cleaned her up, put her in the car, and took her home like any good dad would.
Grief manifests in strange. I don't know. I notice a trend now where Jewish people really like pee pee poo poo, and they bring it up, and it's like that's his eulogy. That's his breaking the news to people that Lowtax is dead. What does he go for? Very relatable pee pee poo poo story. Like, do you have something else? Don't you have something else where something cute happened and there's no pee pee poo poo involved? Why does it gotta be pee pee poo poo involved, my dude? Why has it gotta be like this? Like, I'm sure shit happens when you're a parent, but that's not the story you tell. When they die, you tell a nicer story that doesn't have any piss or shit in it. It's just I don't know, maybe I'm the weirdo on that one. Yeah, Rich had 2 kids. Lady Ambien is one, and I've actually talked to Lady Ambien a while back. Just to kind of lay this out, I knew Lowtax very briefly. He was a user on the forum for a week. Because what happened is, I'll lay this out before I go into the story of his death, I guess. What happened is that there's a guy called Shmurky. I did a stream on Shmurky. Go watch it if you're interested. He is a pedophile diaper fur, but nobody knew that. Before he was a pedophile diaper fur, he was someone who drew art. And a lot of really, really old, really famous memes came out of Shmurky drawings, such as oh, this is awful quality.
How is baby formed? How girl get pregnant? They need to do weigh in stain mother. Who kill the babies because these baby cat fricks back?
You get it. That's Shmurky. There's a lot of them. There's also Flip Top Box, which I'm really a fan of. I think this was animated by Shmurky too.
I'm a guy who likes to work on my car. I like to take it apart and put it back together.
if you remember these things, Schmorky made them. Schmorky was an animator for Something Awful, and it came out years and years after Something Awful was relevant that Schmorky was a pee-pee poo-poo diaper fetishist pedophile who tried to... I think he groomed... It's been a while since I did that stream, but I think he was grooming someone. And he got canceled, and Something Awful was up in arms. Problem is, for a while... Schmorky had been transitioning to a non-binary, and they had a really, really... Oh, God, this is going to turn into like a miniature Schmorky stream. I have to play it. I have to play an audio for you guys. Before we do that, let me just explain. He was transitioning to a gender bob. He had this awful falsetto going on, and when he was outed, Lowtax didn't know what to do, but he was outed through the Kiwi Farms, I'm pretty sure. So Lowtax joined to talk about... what had happened. And there were some things that happened on the forum. In particular, he realized that the forum was being very funny about it, and Something Awful was not. Something Awful was tied up in gender issues, and people were saying, just because Schmorky's a pee-pee poo-poo fetishist, child predator, doesn't mean you should dead name them, guys. Come on, let's be progressive. Let's not be heteronormative, cis transphobic, guys. And Lowtax is like, wait, this is actually really gay. This is really gay. And for a brief moment, for a very brief moment, he wanted to change Something Awful. He like fired mods. I talked to him and Lady Ambien and like Google Hangouts and stuff, and I was trying to say like, okay, well, here's what you would do. And in fact, I pitched to him that I would help upgrade his fucking site from whatever nightmare it's running on to Zinforo, which is what they wanted to transition to, and I would do it for like 20,000. Like I think they got offered 20,000, so I pitched like 15,000 or something. It's like I'm sure I could have done it. And he turned me down because the people who were on Something Awful at the time did not like him, or did not like us, rather. Sorry, I'm still trying to find something. And they said, no, you can't be associated with the Kiwi Farms in any way, and they threw a fit. So he just gave up. He literally crashed into slumber. He took a bunch of his anti-pain pills and crashed on the bed, and Lady Ambien was super frustrated, but she said that's just what he does. He avoids all his fucking problems, and that's about it. And he can't be compelled to do anything. If I cannot find this call, I'm gonna be super, super fucking pissed. Oh God. Okay, I need your guys' help. I'm looking at the internet famous chat on the forum. If you can find the Mandy Schmorky call, please God, get that and send it to me, because I need to play this for people who are uninitiated. But I'll continue with Lowtax for right now. So that was my interaction with him, and I always found it very sad. I really wanted to help him. I had some ideas of how he could make Something Awful fun again. I really needed money at the time, so I was kind of pissed that he refused my offer. And his wife was very distraught. And they soon divorced, actually. There was a domestic violence incident that she alleged, and it resulted in a custody battle, which ultimately lasted as long as the rest of his life did. He died the day of the announcement of how that case was going to end. Some civilian sent it to me. Okay. Okay, this is it. Oh, Base, thank you. The squeaky voice is Schmorky. The non-squeaky psychotic voice is his girlfriend, who is like a schizophrenic, who currently waves between, I want to say she wavers between like Scientology and Judaism, and is just a crazy, crazy lady.
Do you love me or not? Do you want to protect me or not? Because I already said I wasn't going to do anything.
Please don't touch me again, please.
I won't. I'll never touch you again, okay? I'll never touch you
screaming and pretending.
I'm not
I'm.
What do you want from me? What?
What do you want from me?
I just want you to tell me what you want from me.
What do you want?
What do you want from me?
No. No, you're the one that's doing this right now.
I just want you to just tell me if you love me or not, or if you're in on this or not.
In on what? Tell me.
What they're doing to me.
Tell me what I have to say.
My parents.
Yes.
Are you controlling me for them?
No.
Well, there's nothing I can do anyway, so it doesn't matter. So even if you were, you won anyway. Even if you're not, you win, okay? Doesn't matter, because there's nothing I can do about any of these people. Okay? That's why I said I wasn't gonna do anything. That's why I said I was gonna go to the cops. I just said they won. I told them that they won.
Okay.
I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight back. I can't fight back. Okay? If Hitler himself came here, he wouldn't be able to save me, alright? Nothing. Jim Howe, they're unbeatable. They're unstoppable. There is no answer. There is no answer to the Jewish question because they always win. They always win, and they're mine, and I'm theirs. And there's nothing I can do about it ever. Nothing anyone can. Not Roger Waters. God himself can't stop these people. They won. They always win. And I'm not gonna fight anymore either. Because they won. They always do. There's no point in ever fighting anything. Because you can never win. So I'm not gonna...
So I'll pause it there. If you want the full thing, you have to go to watch the Smorky stream. It's one of my favorites. I really, really was invested because I didn't know anything about Something Awful. And I this all came at me, and I was learning a lot. And there was all these people from Something Awful joining the forum at the time to talk about it. Lowtax was on the forum to talk about it. Someone I knew of, but I never knew anything about. And it was just. I really had hope for this guy. I really thought like this would be it. He would update his site. I would help him. I would tell him this is what you should do for moderation. And he would take the reins and be like, yeah, actually, I do run this fucking place. This is my site. I'm not going to take a back seat to my site and let these freaks ruin it for me. I'm not going to sit here and pop pills and drink wine and beat my wife while these lunatics that you just heard run my site for me. Why would I do that? And that's why, I personally have resolved. If I ever lost interest in the site, I would just pass it on. I would host the full archive of everything on it. I would purge all the user information and stuff, and I would just give it out as like a torrent and be like, make your own shit. Have fun with it. Do something crazy. I want to hear about you doing something that you got arrested for after hosting the site for a couple of years. I want some crazy shit to come out of this. But I would never, ever in a million years resign myself to sitting there and letting other people do things for me, which is why I end up pissing off a lot of people who have different ideas of how things should be ran. But I realize that I'm not always completely fair, but I try my best, and I try to keep things fun, because I assume if it's fun for me, it's fun for a lot of other people too, right? Anyways, point is that was his last chance, really, at fixing himself. If this guy who he had known for years, if this guy who he had let meet his children was now this freak, and he wasn't even allowed to like process this on his own site after it came out because people were so wrapped up in pronouns. If that wouldn't be a motivation enough to fix things, nothing ever would be. And that was true. Nothing ever was. After that, his life just got worse. He tried... he immediately reconciled with his mods. He gave in to their demands. He promoted everyone who he had demodded by himself. He reinstated them. He took the back seat again. And he literally lost his wife and kid over this. And then the next year, I want to say, It's hard to say. I want to say it's the next year. He meets this. Actually, no. This is 2017 or 2016 even. This is a long time ago. I'm actually shocked. Anyways, at some point after Lady Ambien, he hooks up with Logan Day. And I want to say this is either 2020 or 2019. And Logan is quintessential BPD LA trash. Just, and I spoke to her, so I really shouldn't be too mean. She was nice to me, but whatever. She's BPD. She admits it. She falls back on mental illness a lot as a crutch, and I was not very amused by this during our conversation. And Lowtax, I don't know if he was just rebounding or what the fuck he was trying to do, but after he got hooked up with this chick and he tried to make her like an executive producer of something awful or whatever the fuck, he just completely lost it. And then she predictably ruined him by saying that he was like an abusive pill popping psychopath that would beat the fuck out of her and shit. And he just lost it. He lost everything immediately because he made a series of bad decisions that were always the ones that would require the least effort. And I'm pretty sure the farms will be overrun by troons. They've tried, my friend. I don't know why people think this. I don't know why people think there are so many trannies on the site. Trust me, there's not. There's none on the admins, the moderation side that I know of either. It's like a poll meme that people keep thinking is true because they don't use the site. But meets this woman, loses the site, ends up selling it, and then in the process between selling something awful and his case ending, he literally squanders every penny of it. He squanders all of the money that he made selling something awful. I think he does like mobile gacha games. He does pills. He does, he eats out like gourmet takeout food all the time. The meme was gold belly pies that are like $50 pies or some shit. He literally squanders it. And then I've been subscribed to this, by the way. I was on the Missouri court subscription list so that anytime anything happened with his case docket, I would get a notice for it. And I did. I got an email from Missouri saying that the case had gone to trial and it was settled. And I'm thinking like, okay, so I guess this is it. I guess it's over. And then the same day he's dead, because apparently what the judge had found is that he had intentionally squandered what money he had, and they were going to force him to give up his savings to her to pay for child support, and he would owe child support for the remainder of the child's childhood, and he would owe attorney's fees. It would be he would lose everything. He'd be back at square one at like however old he is, 40 something, with. And he just couldn't handle it. And I think he had been planning to die for a while because he mentioned it. He mentioned it in a couple places, and he even said so in Discord, like, goodbye, everybody. And then he shot himself, and his ex-wife explains it as such. She says, child support sucks pretty hard. I'm pretty sure he cheated on her with that Logan chick, by the way. It's like, I don't know. Don't stick your dick in crazy. Don't cheat on women. Don't become a libertarian and have half Asian kids. Like, don't do these things. It's very simple, I think, to avoid these kinds of problems. But she says, I've been sitting for hours debating whether or not to disclose this, and I feel like it's something I need to do to get off my chest. Frankly, I'm tired of being quiet. I mostly had to stay quiet for years about things happening behind the scenes. I've held things inside so long and so hard, my chest physically hurt the same way it is now. I've considered not sharing this out of respect for Rich's parents and sister, but after thinking on the incredibly vitriolic wall of text Rich's mother sent me this morning, saying many things, upon many things, that his blood is on my hands, I need to share it to regain some sense of control over what's taken place in the past 24 hours. So I feel this message is very diplomatic and it's very crafted to make people like her and feel bad for her. Like, this is SJW talk. Like, this whole, I need to regain some sense of control over what's happened. Like, I don't know, your ex shot himself. What's there to take control of besides the narrative, my friend? Yesterday, I received a divorce ruling that would help me and my daughter stay in our home in Canada and allow me to provide a good life for her, as well as pay back numerous debts that had been accrued during the past 2 years when I received $350 a month in child support. In the divorce ruling, the judge found that Rich had willfully spent down the marital fund, confirmed his treatment of me was domestic violence, and put together a plan to pay for my attorney fees. He would still retain custody settled on previously in mediation. He was due to get our daughter for Christmas. An hour later, I was contacted by my attorney who informed me that Rich had shot himself early in the morning. So there it is. His other ex and I got to tell our children that their father died without saying goodbye to them or that he loved them or, to my knowledge, left a note for them. To make it this far, thank you for giving me space to let this go so I no longer have to hold on to it. It's not Canadian courts. It was America. I just said Missouri, bro. It's the Missouri courts. It was handled by Missouri. She just happens to be Canadian. I think she's she's forced to move back because she doesn't have a reason to stay in the U.S. anymore. She literally fled to like a domestic violence shelter and everything. It's a crazy story. It's not just his money. His money was gone. His youth was gone, and his health was gone. He was a very, very serious opioid addict, and I think he was one of those people who had taken painkillers so much that any level of discomfort was agonizing to him. He just couldn't stand to be in pain at all. It was just like agonizing just to exist because he's so used to being numbed out that he couldn't take it anymore. Like just being alive every day was a chore for him. So he killed himself. I'm like, okay, whatever. The only thing worth mentioning is I don't know what his life insurance policy is. If you're gonna if you're in a 2-year divorce settlement, I guess you should buy your insurance policy in advance. Because if you don't know this, there is a suicide clause in life insurance. I think every life insurance pays out for suicide, but there is usually a clause in it for suicide expiry. Like you have to wait 3 years before you can kill yourself to get your insurance policy. So if he didn't even leave his daughter or anything, or his kids rather, that's a really dick move. Just learned to code. His issue is that he was spoiled sour by his mother. Because mommy always took care of everything for him. No matter what his problem was, mommy would be there to take care of it. And he never learned how to deal with anything. And I think that's why he was domestically violent as well. He doesn't know how to solve problems. He runs away from his issues. So when his issue is a hysterical woman chasing him around the house as he tries to pill himself out into oblivion, and he doesn't want to confront any issues, it's how do you make the noise stop when you're just retarded and you don't have any problem solving skills and you don't want to do anything? And you just flail at it, I guess. You punch it, make it shut up. He had a real lack of problem solving skills, and his pill addiction certainly didn't help. So that's the gist of why he killed himself. What's interesting now is how people are going to spin it after the fact. This article by Matthew Galt, who I think I've spoken to before because he seems to know who I am, says Richard Lowtax Kayank, this is for Vice Motherboard. Richard, founder of Something Awful, is dead at 45. He's older than I thought. Creator of error-defining Something Awful forums died by suicide. I hate that. He killed himself. Just tell him he did it. Tell him he killed himself. On November 9th, Motherboard confirmed with Lee's Summit, Missouri Police Department. See how easy that is? He died by suicide on November 9th, and Motherboard was able to confirm it with Lee's Summit, Missouri Police Department. Wow! Isn't that simple? It's really crazy when people are actually dead that you can just call up a police department and be like, hey, Moshi, are they dead? And they're like, yes, senor. Or what do they call people in Japan? What's the word for man? It's like senora or something. There's a sin word, whatever. Anyways, they say yes, and then you can write it in your fucking article. Senpai. So longtime Something Awful admin Fragmaster posts on the site for the first time in years to tell the community that its founder Richard Lowtax was dead. Senpai. Blah blah blah. There's goes over all the things I explained. And they talk about how much something awful influenced society or internet culture at least. And I even like this part. Where does it say that? He changed this a little bit, I think. But many lives were also warped and destroyed. One of the most popular forum threads on the site was Grover House, the story about a sprawling and bizarre home construction project. Goons were so hungry for more information about the strange house they doxed, spelled incorrectly, the owner and harassed him and his family for the lulz. The targeted harassment campaigns of Kiwi Farms and 4chan were born and perfected on something awful before moving off the site. The internet's general interest in seeking justice via public shaming was fostered there, he says. And before this was changed a little bit, I sent a message to this guy. And I said, number one, sir, you are spelling the internet wrong. The internet is a proper noun. It is not a lowercase I. And then I said, number two, there is no relation. He said that Kiwi Farms came from something awful, which is just not true. Like I didn't know what something awful was until I was like in my late teens, early 20s. I didn't start hosting the Kiwi Farms until I was 19, and I didn't come from someone who was a goon. The only kind of direct comparison between something awful, and this is true, something awful in the Kiwi Farms is that, as many of you may know, I posted as a teenager between the ages of like 13 and 18 on a forum called Blockland Forums, and the owner of Blockland Forum was a goon. Bad Spot, whose name at this point I'm pretty sure is like a play on words of Lowtax. It's like the same kind of convention. It's Bad Spot. I'm pretty sure Bad Spot made Blockland as a project to show to goons, and then when he launched it, the goons didn't come over, and he instead got like children interested in like a brick building game that was modifiable. That's where I learned to script and do programming and stuff, was making mods for this game. But Bad Spot really fucking hated all the kids who played his game. He wished they were super cool goons from something awful like EVE Online had, or Space Station. But instead it was just kids like me. And he really hated all of us. And you could tell that he really hated his audience. And that's why Blockland, even though it predates Roblox and Minecraft, it never beat them. Because those games were made for kids. And when they took off, the people who made the games continued to improve them for kids, as opposed to Bad Spot, who just moped that he didn't have a super cool goon audience that were fans of his game. So as far as inspiration for Kiwi Farms coming from something awful, that's the only link, is that the Kiwi Farms is kind of like Blockland Forum and that there's drama. His reply to this, by the way, he said, actually, according to the AP Style Guide, it is lowercase I internet. The AP Style Book, we will lowercase internet effective June 1st, 2016, when the 2016 Style Book launches. AP Style Tip, internet. And there it is. The AP Style Guide says that it's a lowercase I. And I'll tell you right there, this is the second, this AP Style Book should be burned. It should be burned. This is bullshit. And if you're going to say I'm felted, actually, these are the same people who say that black should be proper case. And white should not be. So these people, these scum of the fucking earth, have an agenda, and they are trying to make black big, white small, and the internet even smaller. That's what you have to take away from here. Fuck the AP Style Book. That's all I gotta say. All my homies hate the AP Style Book. Wait, we're all felted. Exactly. Fuck them. Also, I'll have you know I'm internet famous now. As I segue flawlessly, let me get a sip of water, actually. As I segue flawlessly into the third leg of the stream, which will last forever, I made a tweet. I said, Shadman was arrested in LA for assault with a deadly weapon. Good riddance. Oh, before I get into this, let me just play something real quick. So now I'm sort of hoping that he'll kill himself soon. and then I can just talk. I can do a person stream on him and not have to worry about any more updates. So I'm waiting for him to die, and then I'll do a proper stream on him. So I'm trying to keep this as brief as possible. So everybody gather around and let's all point our prayer rugs towards LA. LA, I know we don't ask much from you because you are a shithole and everything that you do is vile and horrific. But if you could please consume Shadman and take him from this planet, we would all be very grateful. In the name of LA, we pray. Thank you. This is why I tell you guys. You have to think DS positive. You can't think DS negative. When you get together and you will something into existence, you say, LA, you will consume Shadman, then it will consume him. It's all in your mind. The universe is in your mind. Everything that you see is a perception from your brain. So theoretically, your brain should be able to control reality, right? And if you send the energy out there and you just invoke it, the chances of it happening go up significantly. You can't break the laws of the universe, but you can have a butterfly effect. And I really think that just thinking something, wanting something, knowing that it's going to happen, can invoke it to happen, chat. So, congratulations, you all did it. Everyone who participated with me in that stream. Isn't he on heroin? Yeah, dude, he's like a black tar heroin junkie and shit, and he gets arrested for assault with a deadly weapon. I don't know the details. And I tried to get a mugshot for him, and good fucking luck trying to get a mugshot from LA. Their websites are the most busted ass shit I've ever dealt with. Truly horrific. To the point where I would go to certain, like the LA Sheriff website, and I would click on shit trying to find the mugshot page, and I would just get Apache errors, 404, not found. Like, this is the largest city in the United States. This is the most populous city in the country, and nothing works. No mugshot directory. I sent an email to an address. They had listed, contact this email address if you are inquiring about people held in custody. I get an error from their inbox system saying that mailbox isn't configured correctly. It's like, what the fuck are you guys doing? How does your justice system not know how to set up a goddamn email address for me to send an email to? I found a form and I submitted it, and God knows if that works. It's just unbelievably busted. There was one part of the page where you had to sign in to get case information, and the registration button doesn't work. I tried it on 3 different computers. I tried it on my phone, I tried it on my laptop, I tried it on my desktop. I tried it on 2 different browsers too. Just doesn't fucking work. The registration button flat out does not fucking work on this thing. So I couldn't register. I had to ask someone who already had an lacourt.gov website account to get this case information for me. It cost them $1 to do it, which they billed in my name for some reason. And then there was still no mugshot. So I sent an email to the sheriff. I'm like, can I get a picture of this guy? And who knows? Who knows, chat? Maybe LA can do it, but I doubt it. They listed him as white, yeah, for dead ass. He's half black. He's from Switzerland. He's half black. And they see his mud ass. And I guess the sheriff is like a 56% or 2, and is like, hey, that's it. I'm also Blanca. Hey. And then he's just like, hey. And they mark each other white, and they give each other little thumbs up, and everyone's happy. But, so this is the charge. I'll show my tweet again. This is the charge. Arrested October 26th, and I think he was arrested again. No, this is like a week or 2 weeks ago. And just nobody found out about it until just now. He was arrested. His court date is on the 15th. He was, I don't know what sent date means. Sentenced? There's no way he's sentenced already. Unless he pled out or something. But yeah, he's booked. And on the bottom of it, when you go into the actual case, it will cite the statute he was charged with. And he was charged with a assault with a deadly weapon. We looked it up. And that is, I can't remember how much the monetary fine was, but it's also jail for a year or prison for 2, 3, or 4 years. So depending on how severe it was, if they add extra charges, if he takes a plea deal or whatever, yeah, he could go to prison. He could go to California, Los Angeles prison for 4 years. What a fucking nightmare. An absolute nightmare. And I don't want to suggest people doing anything, but I have a feeling based on people's sentiments towards him, that there may be an attempt by specific individuals not named, who I don't know, to send letters to other people at that prison with some stories that they may or may not take a liking to, which could result in certain actions against Shadman. So really not a place that guy really wants to be. Probably the exact opposite of a place he wants to be. Could it be that Shadman wasn't actually half black? Look at his fucking pictures, bro. From what I understand, he's the son of a Louisiana preacher man and a Swiss woman. He looks like a mutt. He's completely, like, I look at him, I have no fucking idea what he is. I thought he was Arab or something at first. Is his name Shadé Prigine? Like, what kind of name is that? It's baffling. But this tweet, by the way, I guess I'm the one that broke the news to Twitter. It was some complete random. He registered to the site just to post this information from Unicourt. But this has like 7,000 likes, 17,000 likes, 7,000 retweets, which is like crazy. Someone even complained. Says, Josh, this isn't your personal account. This is for the Kiwi Farms. I only want updates about the Kiwi Farms. Well, you know what, motherfucker? Whoever said that, I forgot. This 6,000 retweets. These people, 17,000 people said, I like this tweet. And then another 6,000 were like, you know what? I like this tweet so much. I bet you my followers would want to see this tweet. And then you down there, way down there, like, no, I only want to see Kiwi Farms updates. And I'm so popular that Nick Ricada might even notice me. Come on. Oh no, the mutts are out. The mutts are out and writing gay prison rape fanfic in chat. Help. Help me, chat. Flood out the gay prison rape. It's Mutt's Law. We've broken Mutt's Law. Hold up. Though I don't know. I consider this like Mutt's Law subsection B. Mutt's Law in its pure form is just this. Being, as an online discussion grows longer, the probability of an Amerimut mentioning black dicks or interracial sex approaches 1. Subsection B is, as any conversation about jail continues, the discussion of an Amerimut bringing up gay prison rape approaches 1. This is true. This is universally true, and it's unique to Americans. No other country, no other people in the entire world considers rape to be part of the justice system, except for Americans who lavish it. Like, ooh, I can't wait for that boy to be buck broken. I want to hear him squeal like a pig. Suey, squeal like a pig, Shadman. Suey. And it's like, okay, this is haram. This isn't verboten. This is not allowed. We need to calm down and stop thinking about gay prison rape as a society. I want to live in a society that doesn't masturbate to gay interracial prison rape all the fucking time. It's disgusting, chat. I just mentioned it. It's the law. It's the law. It's Mutt's Law. Exactly. Oh, and before I forget, I want to archive this. I want to archive this in history. To celebrate the occasion, I have not only put crabbies as the logo. Nice little dancing crabs up there. But pow, confetti, chat. Every time you click on this thread, a nice little confetti all over the place. Everyone loves it. Everyone sees this confetti and is like, "Oh my god, I love this confetti." What a nice touch, Josh. I'm so glad you added this confetti for us to click around and look. What a day. What a day. I guess I should recap briefly on who Shadman is. In case you don't know, the reason I'm going to be accused of cancel culture. There's one person in particular who likes to accuse me of being a Karen for cancel culture. And it's like, Shadman has always frustrated me. Because for whatever reason, he is someone who's held up as like a paragon of free expression. And it's only because he draws pornography. If he did the shit he did, but he wasn't like a pornographer, he wouldn't get the pass that he does. As long as you make porn of something, for some reason it's a more highly protected form of speech than anything else. It's really bizarre. And then people continue to defend this guy. Like, okay, whatever your stance is on lolicon, I know people who are like in the porn business could not give less of a fuck. But he drew porn of kids. Like, not just like as a form of revenge. He drew pictures of Keemstar's stepdaughter. He drew pictures of Daphne Keene, who was the actress from Logan, and he specifically said in his chat when he did it, that he was not drawing Logan, but Daphne Keene, the actress. And it's like Daphne Keene could find those pictures. She could like Google herself and find pornography of her being raped by her coworker, Hugh Jackman. And what I consider to be like the creepiest thing he did, if you don't remember, there was a YouTuber named Lieutenant Corbus, or Soph. Yes, the same Soph that Ethan Ralph allegedly masturbated to while blackout drunk. She was a member of his Discord, and she had like a special like kitten role where she was on the user list in a different category and had a pink name and stuff. Like, she was in his adult pornography Discord thing labeled kitten, where they were sharing porn. He was drawing porn and shit, and it's just like, I'm not okay with this. And then he drew porn of her where she's like sucking off a microphone as if it's a cock, and I was like, bro, she's like 13. She's like 13 and she's ruined. She's gonna be like a fucking nutcase her entire life because she was groomed online and she was put online by her parents because I assume that her parents set her up because she had been doing weird shit online since she was like 9. And it's like, I'm guaranteeing you this is like a single mother or something who's like exploiting her daughter to make a quick buck using AdSense. And it's just bullshit. It disgusts me. And for years, exactly like with Jonathan Yaniv, I sat here with my arms crossed like a little Karen with my nice little Karen haircut going, actually, it's really a bad thing that Jonathan Yaniv is allowed to like intrude on women's faces and like get female empowerment feminists banned from Twitter for no reason. It's really bad that they should be doing that. And it was like, no. There's nothing wrong with Jessica Yana, perfectly valid and trans and all this shit. And then all that shit hits the international news about him abusing the fuck out of all these women who are running like salons and stuff. Like, the silence actually breaks on him for whatever reason. And then finally he loses all his power to censor shit online. And I've reiterated this several times, but Jonathan Yaniv was able to get my Twitter account banned, get verified blue checkmark feminist accounts banned from Twitter because he was friends with the co-founder of Twitter. He was able to get my stream about him banned from YouTube before it even went live because it had a photo of him as the thumbnail. It's like he had inordinate power, and then he got canceled only after enough people were complaining about him and knew about him. And then the same thing here. I'm sitting here looking at Shadman like, actually, it's really bad for him to be drawing pornography of children. It's really bad for him to have like the little girl marked to the kitten in his pornography Discord. Come on, guys. And I was like, oh, shut up, you fucking Karen. Shut up, you fucking. This is anti-free. What happened to Mr. Free Speech over here, saying we can't draw pornography of fucking kids? Come on now, Karen Moon, get over yourself. And I was like, okay, well, now he's a heroin addict and he's trying to kill people. I hope you're satisfied, you fucking retards. I feel like every time I've tried to cancel someone, I've been completely and totally justified, and then everyone realized I was right. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's something else that I've been missing. But I really don't pick up the Crusader shield and sword unless I feel completely and totally valid in my cause. But what do I know? I'm just some fucking guy. Let's see. Anything else? What do I got on my notes? Oh, of course. Chantal. I forgot. I have an entire thing about Chantal. Let me get a sip. This calls for a sip, chat. Everyone take a sip. So, there's been a significant development in Chantal. On the last episode of Dragon Ball Feed, Chantal and Nadir broke up again. And then she came back to him. What a surprise. Can you guess what happens on this episode, chat? I'll give you a hint. They break up. But this time it's serious, okay? This time it's super fucking serious. Because what had happened is, as I mentioned last time on Dragon Ball Seed and Feed, Pete had started doing YouTube streams. And in one of them, someone asked him, because he just, his streams are boring as fuck. He just sits there and he talks to chat. And chat's like, hey, what do you think about Chantal's boyfriend, Nadir? And he just goes, I don't like him. I don't like him, and I think he doesn't treat her right. And he's not wrong. I mean, if he was a real man, he would have done something to prevent. He would have swept thine lady off her feet at this point if he gave a fuck about her at all. But he's not wrong. And then Nadir hears this because Nadir's also fucking streaming. They're all doing their own YouTube things now, and someone sends them Pete's statements on him, and he's like, What the fuck? Why he no be a man? Why he no be? I meet you anywhere. You never, when you see me, you never say problem with me. Never have problem with me. And then I meet you anywhere. You don't meet me. You tell me, but you go online and you say thing about me, and you spread rumor. You have not the man. And he's like super fucking pissed off about this guy. He's like genuinely angry, and he's like yelling at Chantal, according to her, and she's doing a boohoo sob stream. He's like, oh, he yelled at me, and then I drove away, and then while she's streaming and smoking weed, he starts streaming, and he just starts laying out all this dirt on him, on her and him, and it's just like, I don't want her. She's an idiot, and she lives with her ex-husband. Or ex-fiance, or whatever, or ex-boyfriend of like 8 fucking years. They live together, and I'm supposed to be okay with this as a man? I'm supposed to be okay with my girlfriend living with her ex-boyfriend of 8 fucking years? Are you kidding me? Like, number one, that's sussy baka to a normal person, but to an Arab man, like, no, he's not going to be okay with that. Are you joking? So he takes it personally that he's now, like, he was okay with Pete's being, like, in the cuck shed and keeping his fucking mouth shut, but now him sitting up there and saying, like, oh, he doesn't treat her right. Like, bro, screw you. You had your chance and you lost it. So now he's like, now they had a huge falling out, and I'll play a clip of him, instead of paraphrasing him, I'll play a clip of Nadir talking real quick. I will play a clip of Nadir.
How's it going? What happened with you and Chantal? I broke up. I don't want her anymore. She has problem and I cannot handle it. She wanna move with me. We're going to see a place tomorrow. And at the same time, she still live with Beats. He say he don't scared from me. I don't scare nobody. But if you tell me an asshole, come tell me in my face. I'm single, not back with her anymore at all. I can do much better. I told her, if you go back, say one word about me online, I'm done, and I'm done. No, you cannot be my girlfriend, live with your ex. Sorry. No man, real man, will accept his girlfriend to live with other man, especially her ex. Saying I will scream at her and lie at her, whatever, in the street, whatever, these all lies. She's trying to get some income this month, I think. Story about I hate her and stuff. I don't like to talk about this, and I was not going to talk about it. I hate her and do this. No, never happened. It's her brain. She have mental health. She need to take care of it. She was high in coke. She sees stuff. I don't like to talk because I'm not the one who talk behind somebody. And I'm making it clear now I'm not going to talk anymore. I just see my reason that I broke up with her, and I think everybody will agree with that. Me, when I have something against somebody, I will tell him in his face. Man, real man do that. I got enough from her. I handle her a lot. I trying to help her. She ran away from me to go eat not healthy. I don't push you to eat healthy. I'm trying to fix you, to make you better life. Going to gym with you, trying to stop you. I stop you for drugs. Me, I'm stopping you for drugs. You was coming here to ask me to buy drugs. I'm the one who say no. I don't want to see her again. Because me, I told her this is the last chance. After she begging me to come back. Sorry to say it, first time I will say something. She's a bitch. You just text me now, you need your stuff. I'm not gonna show your message because I'm not like you. I tell you anytime you can pick up your stuff. And stop playing victim, Chantal. I need somebody who, since I care about them, they care about me. I don't need you. Do you hear me? I don't need you. I don't want you in my life. You can pick up your stuff if you want. I don't want to see you again. Before I told you we're gonna be friends even if we broke up. Now I tell you no, I don't want you.
So I apologize for the editing. If you're only listening, the video has like all these. The Giphy is the worst thing ever made. The repository of like fucking reaction gifs of shit from pop culture is the worst thing that has ever been unleashed on the internet. Because now you have all these sassy women who add this garbage to everything they put out there. And I hate it. And I hate people who use Giphy. I hate people who bring that stuff over to my website. I just can't stand it. It's so bottom barrel. It's so midwit, low IQ. It's just garbage. But thankfully they didn't take the extra mile and add in like those sound effects where like every time he says something that's like, ooh, you got like the oh, and then it's like the black guy like falling down gif, and then he says something and it goes like boom. Because there are some videos where they edit this shit, and then every time someone says something, it goes boom, boom, like boom, like oh my god, I can't believe he said that, boom. I was like, ugh, awful. It's a millennial thing. It's like a Zoomer thing. What they do. It's like a black Zoomer thing. I asked a question in the chat poll. I said, how long do you think Nadir has been in Canada? 35% of 650 votes said 1 year or less. 33% said 2 to 5 years. 20% said 10% said 6 to 10 years, and 20% said 10 plus years. That man has lived in Canada for 11 years, and that's his English. I don't know. These people move, and then they move to ghettos, and they go to mosque, and they go to the same places, and they talk to each other, and they make friends with each other. Like, of course, they don't learn the language. Not that I should talk. Don't ever ask me to speak Russian or Serbian. God forbid. I know a couple words. I know how to I know how to say pajalosta. I know how to say Kitai. Ya lublu Kitai. I know how to say that. That's about it. I know how to say latte and borscht. I'm no better. Apparently his French is better. Really? Well, he's Egyptian. If you don't know this, actually, I think Egypt was held by the UK. It was either the UK or France. So it's conceivable that someone from like Syria would know French, but he's Egyptian. Huh. If he lived in Quebec most of the time, that would make sense. My bad, Holmes. Apparently, he's very multilingual. He speaks a bunch of different languages. I don't know what loaf is, bro. What is loaf? Do I like loaf? This is a very strange question. I feel compelled to answer it. Badly. Bochi. Moving to a country not knowing the language is a neighbor move. I barely speak English, bro. I'm fucked. There's no way. I don't know. I'm just screwed. I've been like I've told this before, but when I was in community college, I had to take Spanish 1 3 times before I basically just asked my teacher to pass me so I could get my degree, and she did. I don't know any Spanish. I know like El Presidente, por favor, taco, burrito. The same stuff that I know in Russian, I know in Spanish. I didn't learn any Ukrainian because I lived in the south part of Ukraine, which is Russian speaking. Me gusta tacos. Sí, señor. Mucho. It would be cool. I really wish. That's like on my bucket list. I need to learn a second language. I would legit love to know Russian and Chinese. And if I knew Chinese, I would go ching chong ping pong on you guys all the fucking time just to piss you off, because I knew you guys would hate hearing Chinese come out of my mouth. Okay, is there anything? Oh, I have more Chantal clips. This is from her perspective. What does she have to say?
What bothers me the most of anything, like anything he's done to me, is that he denies it, and he has no problem trying to make me look crazy and bad instead of owning his shit. I used to do that, like, to save my ass. Before, like, but honestly, I feel like I really learned, like, wrong way, dude.
Did you see me, guys?
Oh my god. Fuck.
You hear me?
Yeah, she's laying there stoned, listening to him on live stream on her phone. If you're curious.
I just don't want to deal with anything right now. You fucked it up. You ruined it. You did. Not me. You. You couldn't control your fucking temper today. You blame it on me. You make me fucking hate you. You push me away. You. It's always been you. I talk about you online. All I do is say the shit you've done. Not a single thing I've said has been a lie. So if people hate you, it's because you make yourself look fucking bad. Go fuck someone else and give us another STD. I swear to God, I'm so fucking
She
mad
never
right now.
moves the cat. If you're curious, she doesn't like to touch the cat, so he'll just sit there and you'll just get a view of his fuzzy ass the entire time.
Okay, I'm done. Because I don't want to fucking run my mouth anymore, because... God. What the hell? B! Here, B.
Oh, that's what she does. She loves to just go pee and bee all the time to call out. That's like how she treats her ex-boyfriend. She goes pee. She'll sit in her chair and then she'll want something. She'll want food or something, and she'll just lean back and go pee. And then he'll walk in like a slave, and he'll be like, "What?" And she'll be like, "Order me a pizza because I'm hungry." And then he will, and he'll bring it up to her, and she'll eat it. And that's their life.
Jeez, retreat fiend.
Well, there was nothing more to that clip. Okay, whatever. So now is the time. Do you think they will get back together? ? And I'll ask my chat, what do you think? And we'll come back to this, and we'll check it out, and we'll see what the result. I'll make a note of this, to see what you guys think regarding them getting back together. If this is the final straw. Let's see. I'm seeing 87% for yes so far. We'll take a. Not even a question. You don't care. If you don't care, don't post. It's a forum rule. With Pete's, no. With my éclaté, my brother. What's his name? Nadir. That's right, or Nader. I think it's called Nader, which is awful. Nadir is a much more like actual sounding name than Nader. No choice. Nobody else wants her. 600 votes, about 82% for yes. Okay, I'll make a note for that in my notebook, and I'll save it. And okay, it's saved. And they're back together already. They're already back together. And what's really funny is that my akhati Nadia has said that there's a condition on them getting back together this time. Chat's already right. Yeah, they're already for real. After sobbing in the car and them yelling at each other across YouTube and stuff, they're already back together. But Akhwati Nadia has said to her that if they want to get back together, she has to do two things. She has to get rid of two things. She has to get rid of Pete's. She has to get rid of the cats. So those cats that she gushes over all the fucking time, she has to get rid of them, and they're old, so she can't like put them up for adoption or whatever. Like they would just get put down. And I don't know if Pete's doesn't even like one of them. Pete's really doesn't like BBJ because BBJ was like a cat she bought with her black boyfriend that she cucked him with. So she doesn't like BBJ. And the other cat is like 16 years old. She's super old. So those cats might get fucking put down. And Pete's might like have to take the cats, and he doesn't have a place to go. His mom's in a nursing home now, which is why he had to move out of home. So he doesn't have a mom to move back in with. Like, he's in a really shitty position. She's put him in a terrible, if she does this, she put him in a terrible position, and she's 19. That's an old cat. That cat's gonna die. I wouldn't even be surprised if Chantal just puts the cat down. Says that they woke up one day and the cat was meowing and it was in pain, and she put it down. And that's just like her cover story. And then force Pete to take the other cat that's younger. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. But if she does that, I mean, it's hard for me to say something like that. But because her fans are stupid. Her fans are really, really stupid. BBJ was bought with Pete. She originally named Casey. Pete's probably thinks it's just quirky or whatever to hate the cat. And nobody likes, he says, I hate that cat. I hate that stupid cat. Fuck that cat. Like, he gets super, like, nobody is impressed by you hating an animal. But I think he thinks it's like in his autistic brain, fucked up brain, he thinks it's funny. Either that or he is actually mad at the cat because it's named BB now and he got cucked by BB. Either way, end result is probably Sam being put down because she's old, and BBJ being left with Pete, who then has to go find another place to live because he can't go back home to his mom, and Chantal is putting him on the street corner because he dared call Eclati an asshole. Which, to be fair, I understand Natter's position in this. It's like, yeah, you really shouldn't be living with your ex. Don't understand not liking the animals, but I am not a Muslim, so I'm not Egyptian, so I don't understand not hating animals, which I maintain is a white people thing. That's gonna piss off the Reddit, those two people from Reddit who say that my unironic racism is a massive downside to my streams. I really believe that animal love is a capital W Hawat. It's a Hawat people thing. Hawat people have developed a symbiotic relationship with animal kind that them Muslims and them neighbors and them Chanks can't compete with. Them Chanks, they think animals is food. Animals isn't food, you idiots. They're your friend. No, unironically, I think that's a white people thing, liking animals. Anyways, interesting to see how her audience will react to her murdering her cats to stay with her boyfriend. What do you know? Josh, read The Myth of the 20th Century. Send it to me on the Fediverse. More likely I will see it there. Anything else? Oh, shit. Okay, we're going into 3 hours because I forgot. I promised that I would read the user submitted stories. And then I have something else to say before the stream ends. So buckle in, get another sip, chat. We're going in deep tonight. It's a special night. Things have happened. Overpaid, never joined the Matrix, as far as I know. So these are just a couple stories that I have submitted to me regarding external community drama that I'll read. First one is this for, oh shit. Oh, I didn't even mention this. Real quick. I'm gonna backtrack. On the Shadman story, on the Sun, the U.S. Sun, the author says, why has Shadman been arrested? A Twitter user under the name of Kiwi Farms has claimed Shadman was arrested in Los Angeles, though this has not been officially confirmed. Vice would be able to confirm it. I like how we've been downgraded, though. We're no longer a website called the Kiwi Farms. It's the Kiwi Farms, the Twitter user. Even though the Twitter handle is a fucking website URL, he didn't clue this guy in much. Okay, and then this. Where'd it go? Oh, here. This person was accepted into. This is from Mark. Mark sent me this. This person was accepted into a private home birth support group on Facebook, and the group moderator is apparently deleting comments and kicking women out of the group if they raise concerns. This is a man in lingerie with a trans flag. So his story was that in a lot of like women's groups like this on Facebook, this is happening. They take over moderator positions and then they force this shit on women who are like trying to talk about getting pregnant. Well, this man is just fat. This man ate a pizza. By the way, I'm gonna force this meme. The Unicode, whatever the fuck, the authority for Unicode has authorized the creation of these standard in the next edition of Unicode, and it is the pregnant man emoji. And I hereby dub this the I just ate pizza emoji. So starting on whenever this gets introduced to the Unicode system, we will celebrate Pizza Day with the I just ate pizza emoji. Pizza Day emoji. The Nikocado emoji. Yeah. So that's that. That's from Mark. Thank you, Mark. The rest are stories that I'll read. This is from Egg Segutor. I'm sure you remember. Oh, this I like harmful opinions too, so it feels kind of dirty to read this, but I find it an interesting story, so I am compelled to. I'm sure you remember Harmful Opinions, autistic egg-shaped streamer Gigi, Candid, and so forth. He had a small but active streaming channel with a tight community. He was always a little on edge about Twitch rules and deleted a lot of stuff in fear of getting banned, since his streaming income is an important part of his family's budget. Bad mistake. Never tie your livelihood to Twitch. They will shit you. They will eat you and shit you out. Largely, Twitch's constant demand for moderation led him to appoint his sister as moderator. His sister is an insane communist who watches all Vaush-like bread tubers, also a lesbian and non-working cripple on the dole, basically a caricature of the left. She immediately banned about 80% of his regulars and subs for 5+ years and keeps banning anyone who disagrees with her, disagrees with communist politics, or admits to having any of Harmful's old clips saved on his hard drive, which she defines as actively blackmailing Harmful, as well as being in any of Harmful's old discords. He, of course, defends her since she's family. The channel is now a dying police state, as is his new Discord, which only serves as a place for his sister to post about how much of a communist she is, and is banning anyone who disagrees. The community is dead. All that because of the vague threat of breaking Twitch's TOS. I think it shows how nicely how little it takes to kill a long-standing community. There are some retarded choices, and relying on Twitch is dumb to begin with. That's true. But as you know yourself, its competitors are also a nightmare to deal with, and you don't really have any choice if you're somewhat relying on income. Hannah says, am I the asshole will outright ban you for using Karen as an insult. Thank you, Hannah. Top percent nerd. Josh, to keep things short, I am a Russian Bitcoin mining app. I use a Russian Bitcoin mining app named iFunny as a primary form of my social media. It's been around for a while, and I'm honestly surprised it hasn't been nuked off the face of the earth yet. A while back, mods made it so that if you type certain words, they will just be replaced with other words. So if you call someone a retard, it will just appear as ostrich. Neighbor became noon. The best case of this was rape, which became gate. A lot of GIF captions with Bill rapes ensues. People eventually game it by typing it as R with a character. This became known as R with the ape emoji, like this. So instead of R ape, it would be R gorilla. This became known as R gorilla. My favorite memory from the app is that a couple years back, a user named Samuel Woodward, killed his gay Jewish roommate Blaze Bernstein by stabbing him 40 times and burying his body in a park. He's still awaiting trial. I miss that neighbor so much. He was truly a master of his craft. Attached is his magnum opus, a post which is definitely viewed by his English teacher because she was involved in the case. Love the show. Have a good one. Thank you, top percent nerd. Pleasant Donovan says, A few years ago, I played Ark Mobile. Yes, I know it's cringe. The Chinese players began to overwhelm the population of the game. So for a while, it was everyone versus the Chinese. If you talked in the game and spoke English, you were immediately a friend against the looming Chinese menace. If your English was broken in global chat, then you were suspicious. Eventually, it was any Asian name was a threat and would be killed on sight. Impo says, Robert Moran, which is a funny name, an online content creator who saw success in the early 2000s, created a tabletop RPG game based on his show Unforgettable Realms, or Unforgotten Realms. The game was used as a framework for a live show featuring animated avatars long before VTubers were a thing. The show saw adequate success, enough to pay for an art team and animators to animate bonus events that only occurred when the audience reached donation goals. This created a fun dynamic between the creators and the audience, where the audience felt they had an influence, creating a shared sense of ownership over the story. Robert became manic about the show. He needed every episode to be better than the one that came before it. Consequently, he put a lot of pressure on his team and exploded on them in private when they didn't deliver his expectations. The audience were also lambasted after shouting "trap" in the chat when a feminine male character entered the show and made the creators uncomfortable. The next season was going to be the biggest thing ever, featuring many things that donors had paid thousands of dollars for, then it all went to shit. The art team left for mistreatment. The audience was divided between free spirits and politically correct defenders. No, this is all just text. And the donors were left with unfulfilled promises to their generous contributions. And I'm going to pull something up real quick for that. Unless I lost this email somehow. Here. He wanted me to pull up this site, which is apparently the site for it. And he says it's like an archive of what happened to the site. It's like this old tabletop thing, and it was last updated, I think December 3rd. Oh God, it doesn't give actual dates, so this could have been December 13th, 2006 or whatever. But hi, I'm Monika Rupert, she, her. I'm the CEO of Mama Loving Management and the rightful ruler of the 5 realms. The meta was wrong, and now I've come to correct it. Look into my eyes once more, and I'll sure you stay cursed to me, dear. So whatever this was, this person claims that it was a good thing, and then it was ruined by various factors. Very sad for them. And Lord Carnage finally says, when working on a Space Station 13 mod, one of the developers somehow secretly this is my paraphrase of it. When working on a Space Station 13 mod, one of the developers somehow secretly added 200 megabytes of Vor Station fetish code into it. And from what I remember, nobody knew how it got there, and they didn't have Git or whatever, so they just like passed the files around. So they couldn't like figure out at what point someone added all this Vor fetish shit to their mod that they were working on. It just got added. Yeah, Vor Station code. It's a thing. It's people will play and they'll role play as like furries eating each other in Space Station 13. It's like its own fork of the community. It's got a lot of active players too. It's a significant portion of the Space Station 13 user base. Okay, that's it. 2.5 hours. I feel like that's sufficient. I do have one thing to say. I'm being serious here. I have a song for someone who is no longer with us. It is not Lowtax. A user named Deadpool from the forum died a couple weeks ago, and I never got around to mentioning it because I didn't feel it was appropriate, really, for me to say anything about it. I didn't know them too well, and I don't really know how they died. But I was told by people from the forum that Deadpool was a big fan of mine. He liked the streams. He liked the forum. He was around since 2014, and he would have appreciated a bit of a eulogy. So I'd like to give a shout out to Deadpool, and I would like to make a promise as well. He was a big active poster in the Melinda Scott thread. He liked to argue with her. She hated him. She really hated him, and when the news broke out that he had died, she said some truly vile shit about him that I will not repeat, but she used it as indication, as proof that Yahweh is indeed on her side. So, should I acquire the rights to Melinda Scott's books, I promise that I will rededicate them to Deadpool, and after I have the ability to. So that'll be my little payback for her. Should have come to that if I can. If I have the opportunity to, that's my ambition at this point. So that said, everybody press F. Everyone's in pressing F. Sorry to see him go. He's been around for forever, and it's definitely a big chunk of the site that's going with him. And I didn't even know. I didn't even know that he apparently looked up to me a lot, which is very touching, and it sucks. But sometimes life do be like that, don't it, chat? All right. Last thing I want to say is I will be doing a person stream on Lowtax. I will be doing a person stream on Shadman, as I promised. Don't know when. Maybe around Christmas time I'll do one of them. We'll get it out of the way. But that's coming up. So I'll see you guys next Friday, and take it easy. Bye-bye.
Another wake, another time, a premature goodbye. I watch you grow and I seen you pass. I always knew that it wouldn't last. Together now we mourn the loss and remember all the fun. We'll drink the beer and we'll hang out where death took another son. So all for one and one for all. Do we ever wonder why? Though the reasons held his friends so dear was taken before his time. So may this run me on the corpse of a dead man, when I told the tales of a love you never shared. So as we dance on the grave of the man's raise your glass, sing the praise of a fallen soul. The praise of a fallen soul. How many times can fate be chastised? There's no path of least resistance for the born soul. Shocked and dismayed how it stories life when this fateful course of action takes its toll. So may this draw me on the corpse of a dead man, with a toast that tells of a love you never shared. So as we dance on the grave of a man's dead, raise your glass, sing the praise of a fallen soul. Sing the praise of fallen soul. Now let's all gather around in our costume, suit and ties. Your heart and soul's a source of inspiration. You never tell the tales of the times you turned your back on this friend you never found this faithful path. So may this round be on the corpse of a dead man, with a toast that tells of a love you never shared. So as we dance on the grave of a man's dead, raise your glass and sing the